Hey guys, I'm just looking at the market right now, and there's one specific coin that I want to look at, and that's Litecoin. I'm trying to create a portfolio right now that is some lower risk, high cap altcoins that could do very well once the bull market really starts. So I think that we're going to have an altcoin season at some point within the next few months or year. I could be wrong. This is not financial advice, but I'm trying to craft a good portfolio towards that. So one of the coins I've picked is Litecoin. And why is that? It's been around for years. It's one of the OG blue chip coins. It's referred to as the silver to digital gold. And there's definitely institutional interest in Litecoin. I've heard rumors of a potential Litecoin ETF at some point. There has been filings for a Litecoin ETF. Litecoin is available on PayPal and Venmo, may be available on more services as well, but PayPal and Venmo are pretty huge. Those are huge institutions, and that's making it easily available to retail, and it did incredible in the last bull market. So just to hop right into it, let's take a look at some analysis. So as you can see over here, I have this pattern set up. Obviously, this isn't a perfect bullish pennant. As we see, price had come out of here a few times, but I still see that besides this, we see price tends to stay within this range, and then we have these fake outs over here where you start to think, oh, is Litecoin finally going into a bull market? And then whoever is holding these large holders, they sell up here to rebuy back down to the lows and then pump it up again. So to me, it seems like there's some clear manipulation happening here, but I think we are at a good buy zone. And I've been buying Litecoin since around $60 over the past 2 years. I've been accumulating. It has outperformed Ethereum in the past few months, I believe, as well. So it's actually been doing incredibly well. We can take a look at that and we'll see exactly how much it has outperformed Ethereum. So it's actually been outperforming Ethereum since June 2024. And it's up about 122% against Ethereum since then, and it's up around 180% against Ethereum. It was up 180, excuse me, 180% at its peak against Ethereum. So I think Litecoin has been doing very well. I think it will probably continue to do well. And yeah, I'm very bullish on it. I mean, it has been underperforming against Ethereum over the years, but it looks like it has bottomed out here, and it has broken potentially this downtrend line. And this is the Litecoin Ethereum pair, so I think it will continue to do well. All right, so here's another pattern I want to take a look at. So right over here, we see once this was broken out of, I call this an accumulation rectangle, but usually you'll see a pattern in these rectangles as well. And what I mean by that, an accumulation rectangle is usually when price is at a low area, but it keeps bouncing up and down between certain zones, and then eventually it either breaks up to the upside and flies, or it goes down to the downside and it drops heavily. But over here, usually, once price is down a lot and you've had a bull market and the prices have dropped drastically, you usually see something like this around the bottom. And in my opinion, that's a good time to be accumulating. And it usually signals there's a lot of accumulation going on. And in the case of Litecoin, you probably have accumulation by institutions in regards to, like PayPal, Venmo, wherever else it's going to be added. But yeah, this is an Adam and Eve pattern that we see inside of the rectangle, and then it broke out, and we saw it go and have a triple top right here, which is what has brought us back down to this zone. So we've seen this top right here, and this top, and we've seen a few other times where it went up there as well. But I would say this is a pretty solid triple top. It failed to break the $140 zone about 3 times. And now we've retraced, and we're getting pretty close to this zone again right here. So I think we're close to a bottom. I think Litecoin is almost about done with this retracement, and likely I would like to see this again attempt to breach the $140 zone. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I do think it will eventually happen, and I could see this being $200 plus. All right, so let's take a look at this other chart over here. So this is the weekly time frame, and I'm going to point out a couple of different structures for you guys. So let me just find the cipher pattern. So as you can see right over here, I'm not an expert on cipher patterns, but I'm going to give you like a very simple sort of look on them. So a cipher pattern usually looks something like this. Um, I'm not an expert on these, but yeah, it's usually something like this. You see something like this. Usually price is going to fall after that. That's not a good sign at all. Usually results in a downtrend. It's pretty obvious to spot. You don't need to be an expert on them, but looking back now, I can see that was very clear on here. But it looks like that cipher pattern has completed itself, and Litecoin has entered into this accumulation rectangle. And over here we see one as well. You see the Adam and Eve pattern. I'll draw that out quick for you guys. So yeah, we got the triangle right here, and then you have the cup as well. There it is. All right, so you see that. And also, guys, if this was to be reversed, it would be a cup and handle pattern. All right, so sometimes you can see those as well. You may even see a small cup and handle pattern right over here. I'm not going to be drawing this out the best, but you could see something like that there. Yeah, so that could be a cup and handle pattern as well, something like that. All right, but now what's most important is we want to look over here. It's good to look at old patterns to figure out what's going on, but I think we could see something very similar over here. So I think this whole structure over here is similar to this one, but we do have a longer accumulation, which does make me think we may have higher prices at the end of it. I do think we could soar past these previous highs in the next bull market. So that's part of why I think Litecoin is a good buy, regardless. But regardless of where it goes in the long term, it is in a good buying zone historically. You know, historically, Litecoin has pretty much always been a good buy in this area. You know, if you bought it around $82, you know, if you bought it in this rectangular zone, it's always been a good buy. You know, except actually no, always it has been. It always has been a good buy for the most part. All right, so I would say I'm just buying and accumulating in this zone and waiting for it to break above again. We had the fake out over here where it attempted to and it couldn't, but it seems like it retraced. And if anyone knows anything about the Elliott wave theory, it goes something like this. I'll draw it out quick for you guys. All right, so that would be one wave. Each wave has three waves in it, so each one of these would also have the three waves and the three upward waves and the two downward waves, creating a total of five waves. And then there is also an ABC correction, right? And it goes like this. You don't have to be an expert on this, but I can see something like that happening here. All right, so we see this could be the one, and then this right here is the two and the ABC, and I could see something like this being the ABC. Potentially. It could go lower, I could be wrong. You know, you just look for what is potentially going on here and you try to make educated guesses based off that. That's what I do. So, you know, that pretty much breaks it down for Litecoin and why I'm buying it. And we'll see if we get an ETF in the future. And if we do, if we get some good news or if we get the market turning around in general, that could be the catalyst to push this outside of this rectangle and back up. All right, guys. Hope this was useful for you.